This time, I'll call the December 7th, 2015 meeting of the Limestone County Commission to order. Is there any public comments?
None.
At this time, I'll ask Kelly to give an update on our courthouse renovations.
Morning.
Good morning.
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 Last few weeks have been very productive. We have started the drywall on third floor. Actually started finishing it, and we should be starting some paint up there probably sometime next week. Second floor is not quite as far along. We're installing drywall and finishing it this week. First floor, of course, is a little bit further behind that, but all our rough in as far as our mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. Second and third floor is complete. We should be finished on the first floor in the next 10 days as far as rough end goes on first floor. This is mostly inside the walls. Third floor above ceiling is pretty much complete except for fire sprinkler. Those guys mobilized to the job last week. We've gotten some of the standpipe up through the stairwells, getting ready for them to start running the major part of the sprinkler system in the next 5 to 7 days. We're scheduled to start the roof just in the next few days. We've gotten all the structural repairs done to it. All the rafter tails have been replaced that were rotted. The gutter system is about 80 to 90% complete as far as replacing any of the rotted materials that were in that gutter system. So we're scheduled to have shingles delivered this week, and then we'll start as the weather permits on that. I met with Jim Lanham with the Utilities Department this morning. It's looking like it's going to be sometime in February before we can actually get permanent power to the building. We're going to probably end up setting up a temporary service before that happens, because we've got to start taking out the old electrical system as far as the power plant, being the switch gear and the transformer. All that's going to have to start being demoed in the next month. So we will probably be setting up a temporary system in early January, and then February coming in, sometime in February coming in with the permanent power. That will allow us to go ahead and start cranking up the heating and cooling in the building, that thing for finishes when we're actually doing the final finishes inside the building. But that's where we're at. Structural repairs are basically complete except for elevator openings. We're working on those this week.
Thank you,
Okay.
Kelly.
Thank you.
Thanks.
At this time, Pamela, I asked you to do the roll call.
Commissioner Hill,
Here.
Commissioner Turner,
Here.
Commissioner Black,
Here.
Commissioner Harrison.
Here.
All present. Commissioner Black, if you'd lead us in our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Next item, I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes from November 16th and December 1st, 2015. Do I hear such motion?
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Black. Do I hear a second?
Second.
A second by Mr. Turner. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Black,
Aye.
Commissioner Turner,
Aye.
Commissioner Hill,
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. The next item, I'll ask for a motion to approve claims in the amount of $1,791,267.66. Do I hear such a motion to approve the claims presented to the commission?
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Hill. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Black. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Hill,
Aye.
Commissioner Black,
Aye.
Commissioner Turner,
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Our next item on the resolutions and orders. I'll ask for a motion to approve a resolution for project LCP 42-164-15 to resurface a section of Parker Road, New Cut Road, Baker Hill Road, and Elk River Mills Road. Do I hear a motion to approve such resolution?
I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion by Mr. Harrison. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Turner. Any discussion?
This is just as explanation. This is the federal aid funds for 2016, and at $533,000, and we are trying to make it go as far as we can. Hopefully on Elk River Mills Road, we'll get that short section included, and maybe the part, seeing how it goes, maybe the part of New Cut Road will not be done at this time, but it's just a short section connecting Parker Road and Baker Hill. We'll probably address that at a later date. But this includes the whole project. Like Mark said in our work session, you can always cut out if you don't have enough money, or we can make it up with other monies, but this is as it stands now. It's easy to cut out than add later.
Thank you. If there's no more discussion, we'll call for the vote.
Harrison.
Aye.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Commissioner Hill.
Aye.
Commissioner Black.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. There's no contracts, agreements, and grants to come before the commission. No budget revisions. No emergency purchases. And no board appointments. At this time, I'll ask for a motion to award the bids on motor oil from Mid-State Industrial Supply. That's just the price list is in your packet. I hear a motion to approve such, or to award such bid.
So moved.
Have a motion by Mr. Turner. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Hill and Mr. Black at the same time, whichever one you want to write down. Any discussion?
We did, I read through the bid here where, you know, we'd requested not to have oil in bags, and they're gonna be able to meet that. So I'm glad. I don't like oil in bags. It's kinda like buying gravy in a bag. I don't see any need doing that, so I like it.
If there's no more discussion, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Commissioner Hill.
Aye.
Commissioner Black.
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We have 3 items under personnel actions. Item number 1, I'll ask for a motion to approve a temporary position for a EMA officer until March 1st, 2016. Transfer David Freeman to the temporary position. Do I hear a motion to approve such temporary position?
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Black. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Turner. Any discussion?
Yeah, I'm on the county's liability fund board, and I think that I would make a request that we table both this action and the next action, because I think that we will incur, the possibility is incurring some liability here. I sent our manual. I was led to believe that David Freeman was an at-will employee, and that he could be fired or demoted for any reason, or for you don't have to have a reason. And he was led to believe that, and I found over the weekend that that's not true. So I suggest right now we throw it in reverse, and that we'll table this, and not only this, but I would make a motion to reinstate David Freeman with back pay till things can be resolved, and not put the taxpayers at risk. So I'd make a motion to table it.
Well, I have a motion and a second to approve it. Do I take that vote, Mr. Macklin? All right, we have a motion to table both of these measures. Do I hear a second? I'll ask again, do I hear a second? If no second, motion to table fails for lack of a second. And now we have a motion and a second before the commission to approve the temporary position for EMA officer, transfer David Freeman to a temporary position. Is there any more discussion? If there's no discussion, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Black.
Aye.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Commissioner Hill.
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Nay.
Motion carries 3-1. Next item is promote Jonathan Yurden to the position of Information Technology Director. Do I hear a motion to make such promotion?
I make a motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Turner. Do I hear a second?
I second.
I have a second by Mr. Black. Any discussion?
I would suggest and advise that you don't do this for the same reasons as I listed above.
Thank you, sir.
And I would make a motion to table this action.
Well, we have a motion to table the promotion of Jonathan Yerdon to the position of Information Technology Director. Do I hear a second? I'll ask again, do I hear a second to table? Motion fails for lack of a second. We have a motion and a second to promote Jonathan Yerdon to the position of Information Technology Director. If there's no more discussion, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Turner,
Aye.
Commissioner Black,
Aye.
Commissioner Hill,
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Nay?
Motion carries, a motion of 3-1. Next item, employ Andrew King as a corrections officer effective December 7th, 2015, pending drug screen. Do I hear a motion to employ Mr. King?
So moved.
Have a motion by Mr. Turner. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Have a second by Mr. Hill. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Turner,
Aye.
Commissioner Hill,
Aye.
Commissioner Black,
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Move on to merit increases, and you have the list, gentlemen, before you, and they're available with Pamela if you don't have the printouts. Do I hear a motion to make such merit increases as been presented to the commission?
I make the motion.
Have a motion by Mr. Black. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Hill. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Black,
Aye.
Commissioner Hill,
Aye.
Commissioner Turner,
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We'll move on to the engineer's report. Mr. Moss, you want to give us?
Yes, sir. We have one item this morning. It's a subdivision. It's located in District 4. It's Marble Estates. It's a minor subdivision. This will be both preliminary and final. And, excuse me, southwest corner of Alabama Highway 99 and Grigsby Ferry Road. There are a total of 8 lots as it is now. It's gonna be auctioned, so where you may not see this again.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve the Marble Estates as presented by Mr. Moss?
Make a motion to approve?
I have a motion by Mr. Harrison. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Mr. Black. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Harrison,
Aye.
Commissioner Black,
Aye.
Commissioner Hill,
Aye.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. In other business, I'll ask a motion to approve the GE Project Development Agreement as presented it's in your packet. Do I hear a motion to approve such agreement?
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Black. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a second by either Mr. Hill or Mr. Turner, Pamela, whichever one. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Black,
Aye.
Commissioner Hill,
Aye.
Commissioner Turner,
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Nay?
Motion carries 3-1. Next item, Carpenter Technology Corporation, Third Amendment to the back tax abatement agreement. It's in your printouts. Mark had went over it extensively at the work session. Do I have a motion to approve such abatement to Carpenter Technologies?
I make a motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Turner. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Mr. Black. Any discussion?
Yeah, when I came in and studying the issues of industrial development and the tax abatements and how the taxes work and where they go, I took the Carpenter Technologies kind of as a study to try to see when and where the tax money comes in from what entity and how it's distributed out. I got our lawyers to help me with that. And I just came from, the non-abated, I wanted to see also where the non-abated educational tax monies, when and the timing that they would come in. And that's generally from the sales and use taxes. And I checked with CFO with the board, and there's a statement here in that letter that I received. It says, based on the estimates provided by Carpenter, the total sales and use tax generated for education in Limestone County from both Carpenter projects, and of course this is a north project, this we're dealing with is a south project, but we're extending and increasing the tax abatements But this, what I'm talking about here is the sales and use taxes, that, and I'm not gonna mention, there may be some legal issue that I cannot mention sales and use taxes, the amount or where it comes from. I don't know, but I'm not gonna mention the amount, although it was mentioned that currently they had gotten 900,000 from that. If I, is that, and the, between 900,000 and this number here, which I'm not gonna mention, is a huge amount. I cannot get straight answers on the timing and when it comes. The Board of Education is trying to find out too. And here I am being asked to vote on this to extend abatements on the South project. And even if I was inclined, and y'all know my position on, and I can swallow abatements a whole lot better than the cash incentives and the buildings and stuff. But I cannot even get straight answers on this issue right here. Okay? And so if I was inclined to vote for it, I'm not gonna vote for these things unless I can get straight answers. And I can't seem to do that. The Board of Education can't seem to do that. And I'm not, so I'm gonna vote nay on this. But I hope that that maybe we can get some straight answers. I'm sorry.
Mark, can you give us a few straight answers?
Are you saying somebody had said that 900, that they would still get 900,000 from the non-abated portion off the sales and use taxes?
The non-abated, that's what they have received thus far. They can only account, the Board of Education can only account for 900,000 of an increase. And I can, I'm not gonna mention this number, there may be legal issues there, but there's that 900,000 and there's a pretty big number here. And that they have not received, they cannot account for.
Offers that they have received 900,000 off the sales and use.
It could be the ad valorem,
Well,
okay?
This is the third abatement, and I'll give you these numbers, that I've gone through as far as some of the questions, and go through and get the numbers. On the non-abated, in the original agreement,
Yep.
for sales and use, was 160,000.
Are you talking about the South?
Under sales and use for the South project,
No, okay,
the South, well.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The amendment is to the South project.
I understand that.
The North project's another matter.
That's correct. But I'm using this North project that I'm trying to understand where the money goes to evaluate the South project, okay? And I can't get straight numbers on the North project. And nobody seems to be able to tell me where the money is. Nobody can give me this ledger item here or this bank account where that money, I'm thinking, based on this letter coming from your law offices, should be there.
Are you talking about go back to the memo? I see what you're talking about, going back to the memo, explaining that it's,
This is what I have.
yes, it's estimated figures, well, when you're talking about the North project as far as the undersport commission. Again, as we told you then, estimated figures.
Okay?
It depends on, estimated figures is based on what they expect to spend.
Hmm.
Okay? What is actually received is based on what is actually purchased.
Right,
And the taxes that are actually paid on that.
right.
Now, as far as actual purchases, as far as how those taxes, the non-abated taxes
Mhm.
have filtered through, and what the school board has actually received, I don't have those numbers, and I can't give them to you, and I couldn't give them to you then. I'm just telling.
Somebody has those numbers, Mark. Somebody at the state, somebody up, somebody has, tell me, and that's that was the purpose of me requesting this, is to find out, maybe you can't share with me with that number. Is this an accurate statement in that letter on page 2? Is that an accurate statement?
On the last amendment, we had Judy Harvey with the assessor's office, because Brian was out of town, come in.
That's ad valorem.
I know, that's what we're talking about. This.
No, this is.
Oh, wait a minute, you beat on the table enough.
Okay.
Chairman's got the floor, okay?
Okay,
Okay. This abatement here will put $46,000 more a year, ad valorem property tax to the school board, which puts another teacher in the classroom. They paying 900 and, I don't know, $930,000 ad valorem educational property tax this year. The previous $25 million abatement, they'll pay another like $980 next year, and this the following year, it'll be over $1 million. The sales and use tax is, you're right, we're prevented from making that public. I don't know why, but we are. But if you would take the time to sit down with Emily Ezel, I think she could show you.
I already tried.
Well, maybe you just couldn't understand it.
Well, that may be too.
So we just gonna shut everything down in Limestone County till Ben Harrison decides to understand it?
The lawyers that write this stuff, and they should be able to explain it to me. And somebody within the state, or explain the whole process, and explain why we can't know or can't divulge this information, or at least somebody within the state, with economic development within the state, somebody should be minding the store. Somebody should be asking. The Board of Education can't find out, okay? That's money coming into them. They should be able to find out this information if we can't for some reason, and they can't.
Well, who told you they can't? Because I met with
Ann Swanner, I just got out of a meeting with her.
Well, I met with Ann, Emily and Ann, and Dr. Sisk and I met a couple of months ago, and they've had a pretty firm understanding when they left. Maybe you confused her.
Well, maybe I have, but I'm not smart enough to understand all this stuff, but she's, you know. I don't know, guys. The money somebody should be able to tell me, say, Ben, all right, I know you're slow, but here's where it goes, here's where it was, here's the timing where it should come. Somebody within this state knows the answers to my question, and maybe I can't understand it, but I'm looking at this number and the number that should be there according to this memo, and it ain't there. So that's it.
The only clarification I try to offer as far as the memo he's referring to is it was an explanation of or an attempted explanation of the process, not a monitoring of the numbers. It wasn't a summary of the numbers. It was intended as an explanation of the process, and yes, we did use the numbers for the North project based upon the estimated figures. Now, what they've actually bought, what has been taxed, I don't have that information. It doesn't run through the office. It runs through the tax agency. If it's, namely as it goes to the Department of Revenue. And while the school can't tell you, I don't represent the school board, I don't work with the school board. I don't know what policies apply there as far as if they've received tax money, why they can't tell you how much they've received. Or maybe they did.
They
tell you
can.
how much
They
they've
did.
received. It just didn't match the
No.
for the North project.
Right. That's the problem. That's the whole problem that I see. And I hope I've explained. I'm sorry if I get passionate about that, but I feel like I'm being, well, let's just drop it at that. I think that we should figure out, somebody should figure out, or somebody maybe this is what it takes to get somebody to show me how it works. And show me, maybe explain to me where this money went to. Because it's not the state, it says Limestone County.
Is it fair to assume that there's probably some difference between estimated figures and actual realized amounts? So,
There can be, and that's why they come back for these amendments.
right.
Because the abatement estimates a certain figure, that will, or there's a certain amount, that they anticipate would be abated and non-abated based upon how much they're gonna spend. And so when they decide to add a production line, 5 years, or excuse me, not 5, I'm forgetting, 3 years into it, when they decide to add a production line 3 years into it, and they're gonna invest, $23 more million into that site, and that's gonna change what they're purchasing and putting there and what the value of that property is gonna be. That's why they come back and say, not only, and by my calculations, based upon their estimated figures, is why on the ad valorem would increase $58,000. And then the sales and use taxes non-abated, would increase almost $236,000. Now, yes, you do have abated figures that naturally rise with that. I mean, when one rises, the other one rises. So they're not getting a greater tax rate without the school getting some benefit. Whatever the property assesses for, whatever they buy, that's subject to the sales and use, if there's a portion that's abated, there's always a portion that's non-abated. So as the purchases and the values rise, both of those naturally rise. So yeah, there is a larger portion that would now be expected to be abated, but there's also going to be a larger portion that's not abated.
And I agree with that. I agree with it.
Might not answer your question, but-
Yeah,
But it's based on their estimated figures and what they actually spend. And so when they know they're about to put another $23 million, in what was originally approved as a $13 million project is now up almost to $62 million based on what they've decided to add. And so when they decide to make that additional capital investment, they want to come in and have the abatement agreement amended to reflect those numbers. So then when the abatement amendment goes to what is on file with the Department of Revenue as part of the abatement process, where you have to send copies of these things in, the Department of Revenue has it. And so if there's any audit or what they've been assessed in taxes and what they've paid, everything's correct.
Everything is of record in terms of sales. Is it a public record that anybody can ask for?
That would be a decision for the Department of Revenue as to what out of their files, they're able to get. But now as far as the, the amended agreement, the resolution, I mean, that's being acted on now. So
Mhm.
it's part of the county minutes.
Right.
So yes, I mean, those are public records, but now as
I-
far as.
in this-
what we're talking about with the State Department of Revenue would provide you out of their file on this abatement, that would be their decision.
Okay.
I'm comfortable with the numbers that have been explained to me by our accountant. I don't know if the numbers are getting lost somewhere with the school board or somebody else, but just based on what I'm hearing out of our office, which is the main people that I need to make sure is doing the best they can do and doing it right, I'm comfortable with those numbers. If the school board's miscalculating or misplacing or whatever, or misinformed, yeah, then that's them. But
And that's
based
what-
on Emily,
Again, I would reiterate this, and I know we went over this before. When they put their estimated numbers, and we work with those and say, if this goes according to time and according to their numbers, and this is what the amount would be, that is not a contractual obligation that they have to pay the county or the schools or anybody else. It's an estimated figure because it is an incentive. And
Right.
it's offered under the Alabama code. It's not anything specific to Limestone County. It's offered under Alabama code. It's done, anywhere and wherever over
Until we
the
get
state.
real numbers.
Because, it incentivizes them to, construct the facilities like they have, put people to work like they're doing, and if they reach their good faith estimates, then yes, maybe these numbers are realized.
Okay. And I can understand it being off. I can understand it being off $500,000 or $1 million, but when you're talking about a factor of 5, I can understand them not, but I mean, it's so way off that it should raise eyebrows somewhere. I'm just saying.
I haven't actually seen the numbers as far as assessments or purchases or anything, and that's typically not something, that our office monitors on a regular basis.
Yeah, I'm not saying, I understand. But, this amount that's based on estimates should have been in the original application. That was before my time. I assume the original agreement had this number in it. Is that correct?
Now, you're talking about just the south project.
No, sir. I'm talking about the north project. I mean, this number here that we can't all talk about, supposedly,
And there's a,
Should be in the original agreement.
abatement, just like what you have before you today for the, north project going back, and yes, there should be. I don't have the entire carpenter file with me. I brought what was relevant,
Okay.
or what I thought was relevant to the south project today. But in the original, there would be an original application for the abatement. There would be the first agreement that was entered, for the abatement, minutes of that meeting, all of this. I know you'd asked about the language the other day, and the language is tracked the same. What has changed, is the investments, the people they expect to employ, their equipment, some of those things that we touched on the other day at the work session.
And I hope everybody understands. I mean, this is not, I'm not questioning Carpenter, or, I'm wanting to know the process and how the money flows and comes in, and that's all I'm asking is, and I hope you understand. I'm sure Carpenter understand, they're smart folks, that it's not against Carpenter or this, or even the South project. I mean, I just brought the North project in to say, hey, I need to understand, I'm just trying to understand this one, and it's the same, follows the same with the South project. It's just the numbers are different. So, like I say, I can, well, anyway, that's it.
There's no more discussion. We have a motion, a second, for the commission to approve the third amendment to the tax abatement for Carpenter Technology. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Turner,
Aye.
Commissioner Black,
Aye.
Commissioner Hill,
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Nay.
Motion carries 3-1. Next item, approve District 4 to reimburse for work for the EMA storm shelter at the Owens Fire Station not to exceed, number 2, not to exceed $3,000.
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion by Mr. Harrison. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Black. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Harrison,
Aye.
Commissioner Black,
Aye.
Commissioner Hill,
Aye.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item, approve closing the county offices on December 31st and January 1st for the New Year's holidays. Do I hear a motion to close the offices those days?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Turner. I have a second by Mr. Hill. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Turner,
Aye.
Commissioner Hill,
Aye.
Commissioner Black,
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. There are no scheduled public hearings to come before the commission. At this time, we'll move to the report of the officers. Commissioner Hill.
Yes, sir. I'd like to, thank everybody that had anything to do with the Christmas tree lighting. It was beautiful, beautiful, atmosphere, and, I think they done a good job. And also would like to publicly thank the engineering department from the top to bottom, since all this is, everybody's changed jobs, and not that they wasn't doing a good job before, but they've done a good job during the transaction. I just want to thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Turner.
Yeah, I just want to be like Commissioner Hill here. The Christmas tree lighting was a success, thanks to some hard work. I really enjoyed the a cappella group committed. That, for me, that was the highlight of it. With that, going into the holidays, just remember to be safe when you're out on the roads. And one other thing, these investments and incentives are working. And the reason I know they're working is because there's people that have been calling me, letting me know that they've got interviews. They're starting the training programs for these companies. People in Limestone County are being put to work thanks to these investments. So I'm proud to have been a part of that.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Black.
Well, with all the recent rains, I hate to bring it up, but I've got potholes everywhere. I think we all do. We're working 8 hours a day right now trying to do potholes and trying to fix pipe or tile that's washed away from all the recent rain. So just be patient with us. I promise you we're going to get to it this week. It won't be a next week thing. We're going to be finished with all that this week until the next rain comes. And as they're saying about this winter, we're supposed to have a pretty difficult winter, all predictions. So be patient with us. We're trying our best just to keep our head above the water. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Harrison.
Well, we constructed the temporary road around Grigsby Ferry Bridge last week. We're working this week to demolish the bridge, and then hopefully, weather permitting and no hiccups, we hope to have the pipes in sometime this week.
Thank you, sir. Thank everyone for coming. Hope you all have a great week. And I want to echo what Commissioner Hill said, the Christmas tree lighting we thought was a really big success, and we're going to hope to do even more. Thank you, Michelle, my wife Gina, and Michelle and Pam. Thank you. They worked on the committee to put that together. It was really a good event. It's like the Sheriff said, it was kind of like a Hallmark moment, you know, a Hallmark movie. It was really neat. And with that, we'll recess until 10 a.m. Wednesday, December 16th at the Washington Street Courthouse Annex. Thank y'all.